Alrighty, and we are live on a, what is it? Tuesday, right? Yes, live on a Tuesday. Welcome, everybody. And, I'm going to go through some picks. We got the Prelude to the Clay coming. We've got the Classic coming. We've got the Labor Day Shootout coming. Answer a few questions if we have time. It's off to a soccer game. For those of you headed this way, weather is expected to be cool this weekend for the Labor Day weekend. So if you are headed this way, just make sure you grab a sweatshirt because weather's looking like it's getting a little bit cool. And fall is kind of in the air. September 1st is one of the latest Labor Days. You know, sometimes the shootout is going on in August. And, of course, this year it's one of the latest Labor Days that we'll see. So, again, welcome, everybody. Just a few people I wanted to thank. My friends at the bottle shop. So those of you that are coming up, you're going to need some booze. If you're going to buy booze, you may as well buy it from one of us, one of the fellow racers, Marcus and Jenny Demjanovic. They own the bottle shop right on First Avenue in Hibbing. So if you need booze when you're coming up here, you might stay in Rapids on Friday, drink up your booze, go over to Hibbing, reload. If you're at the racetrack, you just cross the highway at the Holiday and Taco John's there, go to the first stoplight, go through that stoplight to the second stoplight. The bottle shop's right on your right. Some of you know Marcus. I mean, he drove a modified for years. He served on the board, the Iron Range Racing Association. His daughter, Samantha, who also works at the bottle shop liquor store, was also a member of the board. So you can help Marcus. You can help Jenny. Like I said, one of us. If you're going to buy booze, that's the place to get it. We'd like to thank our friends at Jim Sports Club and Bar and Grill in Chisholm. So bottomless mimosas on Sunday for $10. So that's something you want to keep an eye or your mind on for Sunday morning after all the partying. Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, you might need a mimosa to kick yourself in gear. On Sunday, they're also going to have live music out on their patio on Sunday, starting at, I believe, noon. I'll have more details for that coming up. But live music at Jim's. And then I also want to thank Sammy's Pizza. So it's Saturday night or it's Sunday night and you're kind of been partying all day. You don't want to be driving. Sammy's Pizza right there in Hibbing, the original Sammy's Pizza, right in Hibbing, Minnesota. Get a hold of them. They will deliver right to the track. So, so big money coming up for grabs here this weekend, $12,500. If my math is right, $3,000 for the Prelude to the Clay on Thursday, $3,500 thanks to Danny Provenzino and SafeFloors.us at the Grand Rapids Classic on Friday, $2,000 each day in Hibbing, plus the $2,000 point fund that Ryan Aho and Jeff Provenzino put together, sponsored by TriStar Engines. So, pretty good deal. It'd be kind of interesting to see if one of those, Billy Moyer types back in the day, I don't think we really have any outlaws anymore, but a guy like that's really hot and really thought he could dominate could come up here and grab $12,500 or $500 in 4 days. Four races, not too bad. I'm not expecting that, but it'd be pretty cool to see if something like that happened. But thank you to everyone involved with everything. Pretty cool to see, how this all came together. So as far as my picks, if you're doing dirt drafts, here's who I'm kind of watching. Obviously I'm in this game every day with the One to Go Show podcast. If you're into podcasts or into watching shows on Facebook or on YouTube, the One to Go Show. The number one is spelled out, O-N-E, the One to Go Show, like one lap to go. You can check us out there. So obviously we're in this game. We have some power rankings that we do. And so we're kind of in this game, so we kind of know who's hot and who's not. So my picks for the Prelude to the Clay will go to Jesse Glenz. Obviously he's been hot. And remember, Glenz won the Red Clay Classic last year. A guy I would look to fade in Ashland would be Nick Andlink if he shows up. Nick had an okay July, but he's kind of just faded. He didn't have a real good USA Nationals. He hasn't been running really well in any of that Dirt King stuff. So I'd fade Nick Andlink over the weekend here. I really only see him if he's going to race probably doing Ashland. And then my dark horse pick over there in Ashland would be Buzzy Adams. A guy who's a rookie. Won that big show right at his home track in Rice Lake. Was running well at the USA Nationals one night. I think he burnt an engine. So Buzzy would be my dark horse pick at the Clay. Moving on to Friday. The Classic in Grand Rapids, the Wazota Classic. Last year's winner, AJ Deba. I'm going to go with him. He's had some good runs in August. He really hasn't launched like he has in previous years. but I would go with AJ as being hot over the weekend here with the dirt drafts. I would fade the Sheriff, John Canta. I think in July there, down at Mississippi Thunder, for that Dirt Kings race, we may have seen one of John Canta's probably final 5 victories. That is my opinion on John. I think it's just he's kind of on that trajectory, but he'll snag a few wins. But I think the twilight, John's career is twilighting, and we're going to kind of move to that back half now. So I would fade Canta, and my dark horse pick in Grand Rapids would be Jeff Provenzino in his new Longhorn. He's got a lot of laps at that track, so we will see what happens there at the Classic. Day 1 of the Shootout, going to go with one of the stalwarts at the Shootout, the Double One Express of Pat Dorr. He will be my pick for day 1. I would fade Travis Blutislavich. He just hasn't run as well as he has over the last couple years in Hibbing. I don't think he even snagged a victory up there this year. I may be incorrect in that, but he hasn't had the kind of year I thought he would have in Hibbing. I would fade Booty, and my dark horse pick would be Jay Kittner, a guy who has run really well in Hibbing this year. I think he's got a couple of wins, but he was right up there anyway, and he was second in points. So Jay and that newer MB Custom, I like him as a dark horse pick. And then the final day of Labor Day, I will take this year's points champion, Derek Vessel, who has run very well both in Grand Rapids and Hibbing. I think he's due. Speaking of last year's Red Clay Classic, he was right in there, and I think he was passed real late in the race by Glenn's. So that big win, he's due. It's getting to be time for Vessel, and he did really well last year. I would fade Jake Radetzky. Radetzky has not run real well this year. He had a terrible 2019. He just can't seem to get out of the doldrums. So I would fade Jake Radetzky. And my dark horse pick is another guy that's been run pretty well. Actually ran really well last weekend. Would be the 6M of Jeff Massengill. Watch out for Jeff. So those are my picks for some of the dirt drafts. Like I said, thank you to everyone involved as far as getting all this money, getting the $12,500. Thank you also to Hibbing Raceway for going back to night racing. I mean, it's going to be a totally different deal here now. Because the heat races are not going to be run out in the blaring sun. They're going to be run. I mean, it was pitch dark here at 8:30 the other night. So if you get some of those heat races in, the late model heats might not start till 7:38. So the sun is definitely not going to be a huge, it's not going to be at this angle. The sun's out. It's going to be pushing this way right into the driver's eyes rather than beating down on the track. So it's going to add a little bit of a different element this year. So thank you, Iron Range Racing Association, all of you involved. We needed to go back to night racing, and hopefully you'll have some good racing this year, get some traction, get some momentum. The word will get back out on the street that the racing's great. The fans will come back. The drivers will come back. All right, in closing, just want to thank our friends at Dirt Track Supply, Watertown, South Dakota, dirttracksupply.com for all of your part needs. They got you covered. Plus, they're the home of Aero Chassis. And we also want to thank our friends at Weir's Machine for all your trick parts. Ryan was showing some stuff on the One to Go show yesterday. Check out the video. He's showing, I think, something with a shock. Some sort of a shock crank or something like that. I don't know. I'm not a racer. But all kinds of parts. Panhard bars and frame mounts. Everything you need. Weir'sMachine.com. WEHRS Machine.com. And with that, we will catch you all. Ryan and I are going to be doing a video coming up here probably in Grand Rapids on Thursday. Kind of some of our stories and memories of the Labor Day Shootout. And we will be going live with some updates and trackside stuff both or all 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we will catch you all then, and we'll see you at the races.